It took several months and it produced a 1,000-page proof. And it solved a problem which was, unknown for 100 years. Here is something I have written down for all of you to just appreciate. How we can do it? You write Father Dasarath Ram, then you write Father Dasarath Lakshman, Father Dasarath Bharat, Father Dasarath Satrughna, Father Ram Love, Father Ram Kush, and then you write, if X is an ancestor of Y, then X must be a father of Y, or there must be somebody Z such that X is a father of Z and Z is a father of Y. So, if X is to be an ancestor of Y, either X has to be a father of Y, or there has to be Z such that X is a father of Y, and Z is an ancestor of Y. So by using the same argument here, ancestor and ancestor, so I define ancestor in terms of ancestor. And this is the most interesting part of artificial intelligence and logic. Again, a very interesting part which we have taken from human beings, and that is self-replication. Self-replication. And that is one of the fundamental strengths by which human beings are able to do. And then you can ask question, who is the ancestor of love? Who is the brother of X? So brother I have defined how? X is the brother of Y. If Z is the father of X and Z is the father of Y, then I have defined X is the brother of Y. Because here we have taken all male members. Otherwise I've just done a very simple thing for us to understand and for me to explain that logic, all the rules can be codified and written down. And then if you ask a question, then by automatic deduction, these problems can be solved. So automatic deduction is at the heart of artificial intelligence. Using these three pillars of deduction, of search and learning, people have started using technology of silicon to build these devices. From these embedded machines, as I said, these chips, the chip that you have here, you just take the thread of its wire length, wire connectivity, it will go to the moon. So the whole of software is implemented at high speed and embedded onto the devices that are there today. Today we see this device in our hand. Tomorrow we are going to wear it. Day after tomorrow we are going to implant it. Already people are implanting devices on the eye to cure people of eyesight. They are implanting pieces in the brain and they are trying to analyze whether the ECG signal and the EEG signal and the various signals that are there, can we communicate with that? And can we build devices which will, and the devices are becoming so small that they are of the order of being able to implant it within your own system. The only problem is biocompatibility. Therefore, silicon apparently may go out and something else may come in, but that has not yet come. On the other hand, people are designing that corner there is like a dashboard of almost all the power that is run in Power Grid Corporation. The whole of the software of Power Grid Corporation can be controlled from one place. And that is the power, that intelligence that has come up in our system. Today, people are able to automatically analyze ECG signals, EEG signals, and people are analyzing signals to determine the mood of a person. So, from micro machines to macro scale, embedded systems, devices are going to be ubiquitous. They are going to be there inside out, everywhere, And that, along with that, they're going to communicate with each other, they're going to become more intelligent, and they are going to, now they are making things look like human beings. We call them robots, but even if they don't look like human beings, they may still be robots. And they are trying to make sure whether we can get these things done. They're trying to put in things which is going to change the way we perceive the world. We got a very interesting problem to solve. They said that I will give you a set of 20 cameras on your helmet so that you have 360-degree vision. And once I give you 360-degree vision, can you imagine we were brought up with only 180-degree vision. And if you receive 360-degree vision, how are you going to process it? Will it change the way we do complete understanding of all our visual perception? So there is, as I said, the real, the artificial, the imaginary, as well as the virtual are getting merged with all this technology. It's changing the way people learn. Today, without Google Earth, if you give a child Google Earth, you don't need to teach them so much of geography that you tried to teach. Today we have got methods by which people can do an experiment from here where the machine is somewhere else. The whole of people are able to determine what mistakes you are making and correct you. People are able to determine drugs which will be exactly specialized for you or your genetic paradigm. It is changing the way we learn. It is changing the way the next generation discovers knowledge. And all of us who work with children, and the way the children learn these devices, by the time we press 3 buttons, they have learned the whole device. So you can imagine that the generation which is coming and the generation which will come after that, how they are going to adapt to all this technology and how it is going to change the world completely. The world that we even cannot imagine. Telesurgery is already in place. People are doing surgery from remote places. Very complicated surgery from remote places. People are, today in the medical college, do you see anybody who's done MBBS do surgery, heart surgery? How can they give you will kill that patient? But with virtualization, people are going to learn all sorts of surgery and come out from MBBS. If people can learn flight simulation training, then why can't they learn surgery? And all of this is becoming personalized to an individual. It is trying to adapt you, to your requirements. But challenges remain because of the fundamental limitations. The first challenge is natural language understanding. That is the epitome of artificial intelligence. If natural language could be understood, then that would solve almost everything. And therefore there is a history, there is a trick, there is an essential fundamental limitation to natural language understanding. Complexity. There are problems which are theoretically complex, but human beings solve them very elegantly. How? The third is interfacing with the real world. Computers are digital. The real world is analog. The real world is continuum. Computers are discrete. And that is another limitation. The energy problem is the biggest problem. The computers are going to hog up maximum amount of energy. You hear of oil import, India's oil import something. In the next 10-20 years, India's electronic import and consumption of energy for that will be much more than everything else that is required. gap between this. Today, none of them are based on our tissue, the way human beings are designed, the molecular human being. That molecular human being and the silicon digital computer are not bridged. Therefore, questions arise as to, do we need a different computation model? So these are the fundamental challenges that are faced by people who work in the essential area of artificial intelligence. The road ahead, and that is very interesting. If you notice, we are old-fashioned people. Even we get addicted to the machine. And children are absolutely addicted to it. Is it such that they are controlling the machine or the machine is controlling them? First question. In many cases, the machines are becoming more intelligent than human beings. Are we going to create a knowledge mafia in this world? We know about, with this detailed analysis of genes, you will know exactly how to destroy a race. I will define that drug, that technology, which will destroy people with this genetic behavior. Today, you can do perfected cloning. And if you are able to do perfected cloning, is that something which we want, which we don't? And the power to an individual is such that today in the net you can search the net and know how to make an atom bomb. So there are possibilities of horror stories. But there is the other side of it. Science is blind. Like the rays of the sun, science is blind. Whether you use it to focus it to destroy somebody or use it to harness energy, similarly, it gives us hope. It gives us hope of fight against disease, fight against poverty, communicating with everybody, making a repository of our own civilization. Therefore, in my simple opinion, this prince is still a toddler. Like many great scientific discoveries and inventions, it has immense potential. But it carries within it the seeds of both hope and destruction. And we shall reap the fruits of our own actions. It is we who shall be able to decide what we are going to do with it. It is going to be much more powerful than nuclear energy because it is going to give power to an individual to destroy the world. It is going to give power to an individual to save the world. It is going to give enormous potential to the poorest of the poor to do certain things. The other side also has to be understood. Is this, what are we aiming at? Are we trying to build the next human being or something better than the human being? If we go back to the fundamental questions that we have to answer, then if we look at this history, we will see that we are actually trying to do something, which is trying to do something which we think we can do. We are capable of. And this is where, as I said, the model has fundamental limitations. If you ask questions about itself, it cannot answer. But a human being, through history of civilization, all the great people have, through their acts, proved that you can ask questions about yourself and answer it. So, this model and the human model has a fundamental limitation, has a fundamental difference. This fundamental difference comes because this computer is created only out of material existence. And it tries to convert into the material something that is of the mind. But beyond that, it does not go. Beyond that, it does not go. And that is where I had thought that I will end this lecture. But yesterday, when my mother told me, so I added a few more slides. Because it is necessary that we come here. If we don't speak and if we don't pay the required homage of what an Indian is supposed to do when you talk about science, which is trying to talk about humanity, you need to go ahead. So a peek into the larger issues. Which sciences have the greatest souls on earth since time immemorial have sought? What is that science? Which is the most sought after question in the history of mankind? Is it making of computers? Is it trying to become more intelligent? And which is the most complex system that is known to us? So what is the inner science? That, people have said, is the inner science. Since I did not plan to talk about this, I will just leave with a few messages of what that is about, a little bit of what I have learned. The structure is not the 20 instruction set. The alphabet is not the standard alphabet that we see in the computer instruction set. The instruction set is different. The instruction set comes in a different way. And in order to answer a question about yourself, you need to go to a higher level of existence. It is fundamental science, mathematics tells you, that a system which is infinite, typically complex system, cannot answer its own question unless there is a metasystem. And through the history of the inner science, this metasystem is inlaid. This metasystem is inbuilt into such a fine, infinite hierarchy that suddenly mingles and becomes self-replicative, that it is able to give you the answer on questions that you ask about yourself. And that is fundamental. So I will just share with you 3 slides on this.
Jogi, jogati jog sama. Jogi, jogati jog sama. Sukh mana par baithiya sana. Sahaj dhyan lagav. Jogi, jogati jog sama. Sukh mana par baithiya sana. Sahaj dhyan lagav. Jogi, jogati jog sama. दृष्टि समकरी शून्य सो. दृष्टि समकरी शून्य सो. आपा मेती उड़ाव. प्रगट ज्योति अपार अनुभव. मठ को चलहूँ जोगी बिना पर उड़ी जा यारी करे यहाँ मत भी हंगामा यारी करे यहाँ मत भी हंगामा अगम चली फल खा जोगी जुगति जोग तमा सुख मना पर बैठियासन सहज ध्यान लगाव जोगी जुगति जोग कमाव जोगी जुगति जोग कमाव.
And here in the inner science, the system, that is us, each individual, it's very interesting because you are the experiment, you are the laboratory, and you are the experimenter. And that is something artificial intelligence people are grappling with. Grappling with this infinitism as well as this system in which it can do all the things together. Models are there. The second most important thing that it attempts and does not look at is energy as a passive source. It thinks energy gives something and you extract from energy. But that energy gives you knowledge is something that it does not address. We call it Supreme Divine Grace. We call it the Holy Mother. But that provides you with the knowledge, the power and the energy of self-realization. And therefore it is always important that whenever we do that,
आदि शक्ति नव हरि कमरणी रूपेर जागते हुए श्री कुमारी शिवाय रूप शोभा दीप ज्योतिर प्रभा अरूपे
leads us to freedom, of which people have talked about in several ways. Freedom that is obtained at the height of what this self-analysis capability leads us to. And therefore, in a sense, gentlemen and ladies, there is somebody, maybe we, maybe somebody else, is designing this computer called the human being, which has got far more advanced structures, features, syntax, and semantics, which if we harness a little better, we should be able to go further. I will leave you coming here, which is always a pilgrimage. I will leave you with this last.
साधो अलख निरंजन सोई साधो अलख निरंजन सोई गुरु प्रताप राम रस निर्मल और न दूजा कोई साधो अलख निरंजन सोई साधो अलख निरंजन सोई गुरु प्रताप राम रस निर्मल और न दूजा कोई साधो अलख निरंजन सोई सकल ज्ञान पर ज्ञान दया निधि सकल ज्योति पर ज्योति जाके ध्यान सहज धनाते जाके ध्यान सहज धनाते सहज मिटे जम छोटी साधो अलख निरंजन सोई जाकी कथा के सर